one of the most famous investors in America, just did something that made Wall Street gasp. In a single day, Cathie would sold off around $163 million worth of winning stocks. Not losers, winners, stocks that were surging. And she did it for one reason: to pour even more money into Elon Musk's SpaceX. This is a high-stakes bet, and today we break down exactly what she's doing and whether it's genius or madness. First, who is Cathie Wood, and why does the market hang on her every move? She's the founder of ARK Invest, a firm built on one bold idea: bet big on disruptive innovation before everyone else does. Electric cars, AI, crypto, genomics, space. When she's right, she's spectacularly right. When she's wrong, she's spectacularly wrong. There is no boring middle with Cathie Wood. She is the most polarizing investor of her generation. Her flagship fund, ARKK, became legendary. Back in 2020, it exploded in value, posting gains that made her a superstar overnight. Retail investors worshipped her. Then the market turned, and the same fund crashed brutally, wiping out years of gains. That roller coaster is the whole point. Cathie Wood does not play it safe. She makes enormous, concentrated bets on the future. And right now, that future has a name: SpaceX. So what exactly happened? Days earlier, SpaceX had finally gone public in a record-setting IPO, and the stock surged nearly 20% on its debut. The hype was off the charts, and Cathie Wood wanted more of it, a lot more. But to buy more SpaceX, she needed cash. So she did what conviction investors do. She sold other things to fund the bet she believed in most. Here's what she sold, and this is the shocking part. She dumped over $77 million of Roku stock. Roku had just jumped 20% itself after Fox announced a $22 billion deal to acquire it. So she sold a stock that was rallying hard. She also offloaded around $23 million of AMD and roughly $15 million of the genomics company 10x Genomics. Think about the psychology there. Most investors hold onto a stock that's going up. It feels good. It feels safe. Cathie Wood did the opposite. She took profits on her winners while everyone else was celebrating and rotated that cash into a brand new, sky-high price SpaceX position. That is not normal behavior. That is the move of someone with absolute, unshakable conviction in one specific bet. And she didn't stop there. Just 2 days later, on June 18th, she sold even more. She trimmed her Robinhood position after that stock rallied on a cost-cutting plan, and she sold more Roku after its takeover-driven surge. The pattern was crystal clear. Every time one of her holdings popped, she cashed out and funneled the money toward her bigger vision. Cathie Wood was systematically raising a war chest. So let's talk about the money concept at the heart of this, because it's something every investor should understand. It's called conviction investing. Instead of spreading your money thinly across hundreds of stocks to stay safe, you concentrate it into a few ideas you believe in deeply. The upside is enormous if you're right. The downside is equally enormous if you're wrong. It's the opposite of playing it safe. This is where it gets risky and where the lesson lives. Concentration is a double-edged sword. When you bet big on one company, your entire outcome is tied to that single story playing out. If SpaceX keeps soaring, Cathie Wood looks like a visionary genius once again. But if SpaceX stumbles, or if that lofty valuation comes back down to earth, the damage to her funds could be severe. She is trading diversification for belief. Now, why is she so obsessed with SpaceX specifically? Because in Cathie Wood's worldview, SpaceX is the ultimate disruptive innovation play. It dominates rocket launches. It runs Starlink, beaming internet across the planet. It's building toward Mars. To her, SpaceX isn't just a company. It's a bet on humanity's entire future in space, and on Elon Musk's track record of bending reality to his will. That's the kind of story she lives for. But here's the contrarian view that smart investors are whispering. SpaceX just IPO'd at an enormous valuation and immediately surged. Buying more after a 20% pop means buying at the very top of the hype cycle. History is full of investors who chased a hot IPO at its peak and got burned. Is Cathie Wood buying the future, or is she buying the most expensive moment of maximum excitement? There's also a quieter signal in selling Roku right after the Fox deal. When you sell into a takeover rally, you're essentially saying the good news is already priced in. Art's logic seems to be, the catalyst happened, the pop happened, take the money and move it somewhere with more room to run. It's disciplined profit-taking, the kind that's emotionally hard but financially smart if your next bet pays off. Let's zoom out because this tells us something bigger about the market right now. Capital is rushing towards space. SpaceX's IPO didn't just create one stock. It created a gravitational pull, dragging money out of older tech names and into the space economy. When an investor like Cathie would sells AMD and Roku to buy rockets, that's a signal about where the smart money thinks the next decade of growth is hiding. So what can you, as a regular investor, actually learn from all this? Lesson 1. Conviction requires courage, but conviction without limits is gambling. Cathie can make these huge bets because it's her strategy and her fund's mandate. For most people, betting your entire savings on one company, no matter how exciting, is how fortunes get destroyed. Admire the conviction. Respect the risk. Lesson 2. Taking profits is a skill most people never master. We're wired to hold winners and hope they go higher, and to panic sell losers at the bottom. Cathie does the reverse. She sells strength and redeploys it. Whether or not you agree with her target, that discipline, selling into rallies instead of chasing them, is something worth studying. Lesson 3. Watch what the big players do, not just what they say. Cathie talks endlessly about innovation, but her trades reveal her true priorities in hard numbers. $163 million moved in a single day tells you more than any interview ever could. Follow the money, always. Actions in a portfolio never lie, even when narratives do. It's worth remembering that Cathie has been doubted before, loudly, and proven right, and also proven painfully wrong. That's exactly why this bet is so fascinating. We are watching one of the boldest investors alive go all in on the single most hyped company of the moment. There is no lukewarm outcome here. This bet will either become a legendary win or a cautionary tale. And that's the real story behind these headlines. It's not just that Cathie sold some stocks. It's that she sold her winners at their peak with total conviction to bet bigger on Elon Musk's vision of the future. It's a masterclass in high-conviction investing and a live, real-time experiment in just how much risk one believer is willing to take. The results will play out in public for everyone to see. So now the only question left is whether she's right. Will SpaceX keep climbing and crown Cathie a genius once more? Or will the hype cool, leaving her holding an expensive bet at the top? Nobody knows yet, and that uncertainty is exactly what makes this one of the most gripping money stories on Wall Street right now. We'll be watching every single move. If you love breaking down the real moves behind the headlines, the bold bets, the billion-dollar decisions, and the lessons hidden inside them, then you're in the right place. Subscribe to Money Stories because this is exactly what we do every single week. And drop a comment. If you had Cathie money, would you bet all on SpaceX or play it safe? See you in the next one.